All right, we gonna talk. So listen, Philly fans, I understand. Looking at last year, we almost won the Super Bowl, 3 points away, right? It feels like this team is only gonna get better. It feels like the Super Bowl window is open right now. But I've been one to tell you that I feel like the Eagles have to prioritize the future over right now in this draft. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. I've seen the comments, but I'm going to give you my explanation on why I feel that is the best move for the Eagles. So let's talk about it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. So today we're going to talk about why I've been saying that Eagles fans need to understand that this draft is about the future and not the present. I know it is a hot topic. People probably don't want to hear this too much, but it is what it is. I like to get people upset, I guess, early in the morning. That's just, what I do, I guess. My girlfriend's at work, so I got to upset y'all. But we going to get into it, man. Before we get into that, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. We are on the road to 10K. We would love for you guys to join that ride. So let's hop into it. Let's talk about this. So there's no easy way to start this. I know a lot of people look at this draft and say, go grab a Bijan, go grab this guy. He's gonna put us over that Super Bowl hump. There has never been a time in my life that I can remember and look back and say, oh, this guy in the draft won them a Super Bowl. I just don't think that's really how the draft works. Right now, the Eagles are in a situation where they understand they have to pay their quarterback. Jalen Hurts is going to get a long-term deal. He's going to get a bag. He's going to get a lot of money. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a, back breaker. That's not a career ender for Howie Roseman. It's not going to be the worst thing in the world. We understand that's happening, but there's things that are attached to that. So, but prior to him getting that big bag, we were able to go out and get free agents with big money contracts. We were able to bring on players to this team with trades with big money. We're not going to be able to really do that down the line. So Eagles have to find some controllable contracts. And I understand people might look at the running back situation or the running back position, and say, well, then why not go get a Bijan? You can get him in the first round. His contract's controlled for the first 5 years. My thing is, he's gonna get like $6 million off rip in his guaranteed money. Like he's gonna get like $20-something million guaranteed. The Eagles wouldn't pay that to anybody. That's my thing. If we kept on getting a whole bunch of Rashad Pennies, we're paying $1 million a year. We're not a team that wants to pay a lot of money. You look at our running back core right now, and I don't think it costs $6 million. I think it's less than $6 million with a whole lot of them. So I just don't see that being a major priority for them, especially for the future. They can still take a guy in the second round, a third round guy that's controlled for the first 4 years. And I think that they're okay with that. If it comes to a point that they get somebody in the second round that's just, a world blazer, he's a world beater, he's an amazing player, I could see them, extending him if that's the case. But I don't think the Eagles really say in their mind, we need a running back. Same thing with wide receiver. Wide receiver is an interesting spot because you do look at a guy like Devontae Smith. He's going to come up on a payday pretty soon. Obviously, we do have A.J. Brown under contract for a good amount of time. But will you be able to pay Devontae Smith, right? I mean, you look at Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is going to come up on another contract in a couple years. Are you going to be able to pay him? What positions are you looking at? Look at offensive line. You're going to have to probably pay Jordan Mailata a better bag once he, really gets into his swing of things. You look at Landon Dickerson, he's going to get a bag. Like, these guys are going to get their money pretty soon, and you have to be conscious of that. So what do you do when you have to be conscious of that? You start preparing for the future. So that's why I've said having an offensive lineman in this draft is not out of the realm of possibilities. Having a tight end in this draft is not outside of the realm of possibilities. Look at the positions that we paid good money to, and those are probably going to be the positions that we want to shore up with young contracts, with young guys that we can control their contracts. Maybe a cornerback, right? You look at 2 years from now, you're not going to have a Darius Slay most likely. You might still have Bradbury for a year. Maybe that's a position you want to shore up. But I don't believe the Eagles are going into this draft saying we have to win the Super Bowl with this draft. And I think that that's the proper mindset. If you go into the draft saying I have to get a guy that's going to make our team team, a Super Bowl winning team, you're probably going to fail. You have to just go out there and get the best player. If Bijan's that best player at 10, then he's that best player at 10. If, Jalen Carter is that best player at 10, then he's that best player at 10. But if a wide receiver or a tight end or a offensive lineman that you say to yourself, I'm going to have to pay this position in 4 or 5 years, and I don't know if I'm going to have that money because of Jalen Hurts, that's probably going to be something that you're going to look at. I think these next 2 years and last year, you can include that last draft, this draft, and the next draft. Those 3 drafts, I think, are going to mold the future of what this Philadelphia Eagles team is going to be. We saw it back in the day, right? You saw when Fletcher Cox got drafted, when Jason Kelce got drafted, Travis Kelce got, can't talk. Zach Ertz. Keep thinking about Travis Kelce. Zach Ertz got drafted. You look at when all these guys got drafted, and it was 3-4 years in a row just getting our core of guys together. I see that being the case this year. I truly do. Maybe not to the extent that we saw last year where our first 3 picks didn't even see the field realistically. I mean, Jordan Davis did, but not really that much, right? I don't know that it'll be to that extreme. I do think that our first couple picks will probably get some burn. I don't see us getting guys that will just not play at all, but I wouldn't be too shocked to see, in the first round getting an offensive lineman that doesn't necessarily have to play this year, or in the second round getting a offensive lineman that can work for you down the line. Like a guy like Cody Mauch makes so much sense. You think of what Cody can do for you. He can play all 5 positions, right? He can play all 5 spots on the offensive line. That gives you so much versatility. You're open to doing so much now if you have a guy like that. That immediately replaces Andre Dillard, right? You can plug him in at guard if you don't want to have Cam Jurgens go ahead and start there. There's so many things you can do. So I just be open to it, because there's so many times that I see Eagles fans, and it's no knock. It really is no knock. I understand how it goes. But I see so many times just Eagles fans saying, we need Jalen Carter. We need Bijan Robinson, or this draft just isn't it, or we need Nolan Smith. We need that. The first round is not going to make or break this draft. The Eagles need to hit. The Eagles need to hit on, we have 6 picks. We need to hit on at least 3 of them. At least 3 of those guys need to be future players for this team. And again, I'm not saying that they have to go out there this year and win us a Super Bowl. If they do, awesome. That's even better. That's even more amazing, right? But we realistically can't expect that from any player. If Bijan comes here and we don't win a Super Bowl in the first 4 years, was that a waste of a pick? I think a lot of people would say that it was. So I look at the future. Look at the future when you really bring up these guys, because I like Bijan, and I like everybody that is really high on him, and I get it. He is, to me, one of the top 5 players in this draft. But what would he do for the future of this team, right? We would have a great running back for the first 5 years. Would he win us a Super Bowl? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, if Lane Johnson goes down, but you got Bijan Robinson, you're going to be looking at yourself saying, we probably should have took an offensive lineman in the first round. So just understand, the Eagles are going to be looking at the future of their team. This draft has nothing, I don't want to say nothing to do, but this draft is not predicated on making this team right now the best it can be. This draft is predicated on continuing the success. And I've seen a lot of comments where they're like, I don't want to just be mediocre for the rest of my life. I don't want to just, it's a tough situation. Do you want to hopefully win a Super Bowl in these next 5 years, and then you're just scrambling after that to try and fill holes because now you have so many rookies that didn't work out? Or what do you want to do? Like I like continued success, right? And there's definitely a give and take when you want continued success. But I believe that the Eagles can win a Super Bowl without hitting on a huge prospect. I don't think that they need a Jalen Carter or a Bijan Robinson to win a Super Bowl. Would it help them? Definitely. But I think the Eagles need to understand. I think they do understand. I think the Eagles do understand that this draft is very, very imperative for the immediate future and the long-term future of this team. When you have a guy like Jalen Hurts that's most likely going to get anywhere from 5, I've heard 7, 8 years contract. So we're going to have to deal with that cap. The cap will continuously go up. So I'm sure in a couple years we'll look back at this and say it was a great deal and yada yada. But it's something to keep your mind on, keep your eye on. Let me know what you think in the comments. Realistically, I understand the whole concept of wanting to win a Super Bowl right now and going all in on this draft and hope it, but I just don't think that that's a smart play. I think that the draft is what the draft has always been, and that's to solidify the youth on your team and to continue your success. But you guys let me know what you're thinking in the comments. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Y'all know, I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. But y'all know what it is. It's Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out here. Peace.
Eagles fans everywhere. This is for you.
Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown, touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird gang nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man Saul Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randolph. Season head, early time to do him in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.